Tired of thin, tinny dash speakers that make your favorite tracks feel flat? Stick around, because the right 3.5-inch upgrade can transform your soundstage way more than you think, and the top pick here might surprise you with how big it sounds for such a small driver. In this video, 5 of the best 3.5-inch car speakers go head-to-head with real-world impressions, strengths, and a few honest drawbacks for the early entries. And yes, there's a clear winner for clarity and output that feels like a real step up, not just a side grade. Number 5. Boss BRS-35. The Boss BRS-35 is the quintessential budget replacement, simple, lightweight, and dead easy to fit in tight factory locations, thanks to a shallow mounting depth around 1.6 to 1.75 inches and universal-style holes that make installs painless in older dashes. If the factory cones are cracked or buzzing, dropping this in instantly restores basic clarity with a 4-ohm load and a rated 25 watts RMS 50 watts peak, covering the 100 Hz to 18 kHz band so voices and chimes come through cleanly. It's the kind of get you back to stock or a bit better swap that just works without fuss. Tonally, it keeps mids intelligible and top-end detail reasonably intact for podcasts and news, and for day-to-day city driving, that's honestly enough for a lot of people. The polypropylene cone resists humidity better than the paper cones found in many OEM units, and the foam surround gives it a light, easy motion that doesn't need a lot of power to wake up. Sensitivity is about 81 dB, so it's not a loudspeaker by any means, but on factory power it does fine at moderate volumes. Now, well, if you're hoping for bass, this isn't that. With response starting around 100 Hz, music lacks body, and you'll hear a noticeable thinness if your system doesn't have solid door woofers or a sub handling the low end. Push it hard and the dual cone design can get papery up top, with some edge on S sounds or cymbals at high volume. Number 4. Boss CH3220. The Boss CH3220 looks the part. Coaxial layout with a visible tweeter, a red poly-injected cone, and rubber butyl surrounds depending on the vendor, promising more treble detail than a simple dual cone. On paper, you'll see numbers like 70 watts RMS per pair, 140 to 200 watts peak per pair, 4-ohm impedance, sensitivity around 88 dB, and response from roughly 100 Hz to 18 kHz, plus a shallow 1.37 to 1.46 inch mounting depth that makes installs easy. That spec sheet, it tempts you. In practice, the CH3220 does add top-end presence compared to the BRS-35. Vocals step forward, hi-hats get air, and for spoken word and pop, that extra tweeter energy helps intelligibility at lower volumes. The aluminum voice coil holds together decently on quick peaks, and the polycone lends a bit more stiffness for cleaner mid-range articulation. Sensitivity near 88 dB means it wakes up faster on head unit power than the BRS-35. But there's a caveat. The upper treble can feel splashy, with the piezo/polyamide tweeter voicing sounding a little spitty on sibilant tracks, and the 100 Hz low-end cutoff still keeps bass lean. Crank it, and the top can get glassy before the mid-bass fills in, so tonal balance skews bright unless you have a sub or strong door woofers. Different listings also quote different peak ratings, which can be confusing when matching power. Stick to conservative RMS expectations. 3. Kicker CSC35, 46 CSC 354. Now we're talking. The Kicker CS 3.5-inch coaxials are built with real parts that matter. A rigid polypropylene woofer, UV-treated polyester foam surround, and a half-inch PEI balanced dome tweeter. Rated around 30 watts RMS and 90 watts peak with 4-ohm impedance, 88 dB sensitivity, and a broader 80-20,000 Hz response, they feel more complete out of the box. The top mount depth is about 1/11/16 inches, so still very manageable in tight dashes. On first listen, the Kicker gives you that clean, confident mid-range with a smoother treble than the budget Boss entries. Cymbals come through crisp without the harsh splashiness, and vocal textures pop. There's definition in consonants without the sting. The zero protrusion tweeter design is clever. It helps fitment in shallow grills without bumping, and imaging benefits from that tidy geometry. Bass, well, it's still a 3.5, but extending down to about 80 Hz on spec does give a touch more body than the 100 Hz crowd, especially in dash positions that couple to the windshield. Pair it with any kind of underseat sub or decent door mid-bass, and suddenly the front stage locks in, making guitars and snares feel anchored. The 30-watt RMS rating aligns nicely with head unit power or small compact amps. Durability-wise, the CS series materials do well with heat and sun. The UV-treated surround and polypropylene cone shrug off summer dashboards better than many. The 4-ohm load keeps compatibility simple with factory systems and aftermarket decks. 2. NVX NSP35. The NVX NSP35 flies under the radar, but it shouldn't. With 35 watts RMS each, 70 watts per pair, 200 watts peak per pair, 4-ohm impedance, and a 3/4-inch silk dome tweeter, it plays with a refined top end that's rare at this size. Frequency response is rated around 138 to 20,000 Hz, sensitivity about 84 to 85 dB, and top mount depth in the 1.49 to 1.65 inch range depending on listing, so it's still a friendly fit in most dashes. What jumps out first is the treble texture. Silk domes just, have that natural sheen, vocals sound less edgy, and cymbals decay with a more realistic shimmer compared to many PEI or piezo tweeters at this price. The polypropylene woofer with MBR surround gives the mid-range steady control. Pianos and acoustic guitars sit in focus, not smeared. It's not trying to impress with fake brightness. It impresses with balance. Power handling is honest. On a small compact amp delivering 20 to 30 watts per channel, the NVX opens up and maintains composure on peaks without the tweeter getting shouty. Granted, sensitivity is a touch lower than the kicker, so on a weak factory deck it may play slightly quieter. But the trade-off is smoother tonality and low fatigue on long drives, great for commuters and daily listeners. Bass is limited by the 138 Hz spec. That's physics talking. In cars with decent door woofers, the integration is still seamless, and the NVX doesn't overreach trying to fake bass, it stays clean. Number 1. Infinity Reference 3032CF. The Infinity Reference 3032CF is the small speaker that consistently sounds big. With the brand's +1+ cone tech and a low impedance design, 2 ohms nominal, engineered to present a roughly 4 ohm load with factory wiring, it pulls more usable power from stock or aftermarket head units. It's rated for 25 watts RMS, 75 watts peak, with a wide 85-21,000 Hz response, a hot 91 dB sensitivity, and only about 1.5 inches top mount depth. That combination is special for dash and corner locations. Right away, the 3032CF delivers clarity and output that cut through cabin noise without turning brittle. The mid-range has weight, male vocals don't hollow out, and the top end is open and airy without the zing. Infinity's voicing leans musical rather than clinical, and the extra cone area from +1+ helps the lower mid-band punch more convincingly than most 3.5s. That low impedance architecture is the secret sauce. It's like, wait, why does this get louder at the same volume? Because it's drawing power more efficiently from the source. In real cars, that means better dynamics at normal listening levels, and when paired with a modest amp, it scales without strain. Many kits include inline capacitors for protection in certain center channel installs, which helps keep the highs tidy in factory systems. Fitment is usually drama-free thanks to the compact depth and sensible cutout size around 3 to 3.06 inches, though grills aren't included since most dash spots reuse factory covers. Final thoughts. That's all for today, folks.